Welcome to this week's episode of the Lido Loop. I'm your host, Jack McCraw. With me, as always, my good friend, Jesse Barboza. How we doing today?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. So what's on the show today, Jesse?
Yeah, so the Bahamas is now going to be getting a new cruise port. It looks like Galveston has received $8.2 million in grants to update their port, and Royal Caribbean has updated their rewards program.
That, and we might have some new shakeups at the top of the Six Flags chain. Both Universal and SeaWorld have announced their concert series upcoming, and we have our first review of the Disney Magic. So stick around on this week's episode of the Lido Loop. So starting off the show, we're going to get you guys caught up in the loop and talk about the latest in the cruise world. And so, Jesse, I hear the Bahamas is developing a new cruise port.
Yeah, so the proposed port is actually going to be called on the island of Mayaguana, which is an island. It's about 350 miles south of Nassau. So it looks like that there are going to be different phases of this project, including they're going to be building a cruise terminal and adding port facilities.
Did they say anything about which cruise lines will be coming to this new destination?
No, actually, they haven't released any information on that. They're just really looking at adding more jobs and promoting the economy in that island. As of right now, they also have no timeline of when this is going to come out.
Well, I can certainly see ships like Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and others heading to this new destination. And speaking of Royal Caribbean, I heard that they updated their rewards program.
So Royal Caribbean Group has announced the launch of Points Choice, which basically says that if you sell on any of their cruise lines, which is Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, or Silver Seas, you can use your loyalty points in any of those areas. So if you sell on Celebrity one time and you sell, say 7 days or whatever it is, you can use those points towards Royal Caribbean because you mainly sell Royal Caribbean.
Do you think with this new rewards program that people who normally sail with Royal Caribbean ships will try their other brands like Celebrity, like you mentioned?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think for most part, people don't just like sell Celebrity exclusively. They're like maybe once in a while, like for anniversaries or big events, they will go on a fancier cruise. Carnival, which their loyalty program, which I wouldn't even say a loyalty program anymore, it's more about who spends the most money program. I think Royal Caribbean definitely did this on purpose to try to get Carnival travelers to their cruise line.
Yeah, you and I had a in-depth discussion about Carnival's rewards program not being as user-friendly as they used to be. So this could certainly entice more people going to Royal Caribbean and trying their other brands like Celebrity as well.
So the new loyalty program starts January 30th, and after you cruise, you'll have 14 days to allocate the points to whatever cruise line you would like.
That's awesome, especially for our Galveston cruisers. They'll certainly be able to use those points more frequently as well. And speaking of which, I heard Galveston is getting a massive amount of money to get invested into their port.
So Galveston is getting about $8.2 million in grants to fund mainly transportation and mobility improvements throughout the Galveston port. This includes AI for like traffic lights, and I think that's going to help like with traffic. Because have you ever been stuck at a light and it like cycles you because it doesn't really see you there? The new AI technology will improve it tremendously.
Yeah, it seems like it would certainly help out with traffic. How else will this money being invested into the port help out people who want to travel to Galveston for a cruise?
Yeah, so if anyone that's been to Galveston, they know that it is always crazy just trying to park anywhere in Galveston. You can be sitting there for 30 minutes to an hour just waiting to park so you can get onto the ship. But they're going to be spending money mainly on pedestrian bridges and sidewalks, and in order to improve the area so that the currently can manage about the 2 million people that currently go there a year. In the future, they're expecting up to 9 million people to be traveling out of Galveston.
9 million people is certainly a big number going from the average about 2 million, like you said. Yes, Galveston is becoming a much more popular spot for cruising. And as we said in a previous episode, it has becoming one of the fastest growing ports in America. So I'm glad to see this money being invested into Galveston in order to make cruising more efficient.
Speaking of Galveston, so I heard that there's some news with Six Flags that's going to be affecting Schlitterbahn in Galveston.
Yeah, so ever since the merger in 2024 between Six Flags and Cedar Fair, the Parks Division has been filing and assessing their parks to see which ones should receive the investment, which ones might be on the chopping block. And of course, we saw with Six Flags America that was the case for that. And now there's been a new trademark been filed for, quote, Enchanted Parks for a rebrand for multiple Six Flags parks. And one of them is Schlitterbahn Galveston. The other parks include trademarks for Enchanted Park St. Louis, where Six Flags St. Louis is, Enchanted Parks Michigan's Adventure, where Michigan's Adventure is obviously, Enchanted Parks Oceans of Fun in Kansas City, and Enchanted Parks Great Escape Lodge, where the company holds Six Flags Great Estate.
So is there a foreseeable date that this might happen?
At this point in time, there have just been trademarks filed. We're not even sure what exactly the trademark is for. This could just be Six Flags rebranding these certain parks, but the more likely rumor is that these parks might be acquired by a different company and then just using the Enchanted Parks name for those brands. So for those who want to get the Six Flags season pass and use it at Schlitterbahn Galveston, might not be able to do so in the future because it might be a totally different park. Now, this rumor that's what it is. It's just a rumor. The trademarks have been filed, but we still don't know exactly what's going to be happening in the future with these parks under this potential new trademark.
So, Jack, I heard there's an update with the new ride coming to Universal Studios.
Yes. As most of you know, Hollywood Rip Ride and Rocket was torn down, and they are replacing it with a different roller coaster. Well, we might have some clarity coming as a post on Universal's X account appears to tease a new Fast and Furious attraction there is a picture of a car speedometer going up and down, which is implying that this new roller coaster is going to be themed to Fast and the Furious. They look like they're going to make an official announcement on January 20th. So stay tuned for that. It could be a clone of the Fast and Furious roller coaster that they're building over at Universal Studios Hollywood, as Universal has done that, where Jurassic Park, River Adventure, and The Mummy, The Simpsons, Harry Potter, they have a lot of clone rides at both the California and Florida parks, so this will be right up in that alley. In other Universal news, Universal has announced their Mardi Gras lineup with a multitude of artists that include Cascade, Portugal the Main, Ivy Queen, Joey Fatone and AJ McLean, RuPaul's DJ set, Shaggy, Tyler Hubbard, BB Rexa, Zed, Bare Naked Ladies, and All American Rejects. That's quite a concert lineup. I'm not too terribly impressed by that, but if you want some more options, SeaWorld in Orlando has a ton of choices. They have a concert series that starts on January 31st with Flo Rida and includes the likes of Sylvia, Bow Wow, Click 5, just a bunch of nostalgic artists from the 2000s. So if you're more into that, which of course Jesse and I are, you can certainly check out the Seven Seas Food Festival at SeaWorld or Universal's Mardi Gras.
So when are these concerts going to be taking place, Jack?
Seven Seas Food Festival starts on January 31st and lasts all the way until May 17th. Now, these dates are all spread out, so you would just have to check their website, whereas Universal's Mardi Gras is going to start on February 7th and last until April 4th. So these are all going to be select nights, so just check the Universal website or the SeaWorld website. Hey, at least there are a lot of different concert options and entertainment options going to be offered from both SeaWorld and Universal in the upcoming days and months.
Now that everyone's in the loop, we are going to do our first cruise review of the Disney Magic.
So joining us now is our good friend Patty. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
So Patty just went on the Disney Magic, and she's going to tell us all about that. So first off, Patty, why did you choose this cruise?
I chose this cruise because I really wanted to experience a Disney cruise. I had seen a lot of videos on YouTube, and I just really wanted to experience it for myself because my sister had been on like three of these, and this is her fourth one. So I really wanted to experience this for myself. So
So you're coming out of Galveston. So did you stay at Galveston the night before, or did you go in the morning of?
we went in the morning of. Our check-in was at 1:45. So as long as you get there between 1:45 and 2 o'clock, they can check your bags and they can get you in. It's pretty smooth.
So with you living here relatively close to Galveston, I'm assuming you drove there. How was the traffic going to Galveston?
There was some traffic only because it was a Wednesday afternoon. So it took more or less an hour and 45 minutes, but we got there pretty quickly and we made our time to check in. So,
All right. So how was embarkation? How long did it take from curb to ship?
from curb to ship, probably about 20 minutes, not even.
And you did say something that there wasn't a lot of porters.
Yeah, I don't know if it was because it was like a Wednesday afternoon or I don't know what happened. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of porters out there for whatever reason. There was, I don't know.
Okay. So once you got on board, what was your first impressions of the ship?
Beautiful. Beautiful ship. The details that they add, all the Disney characters. I wish I would have taken a picture of it, but they have these gold inlays that have like the actual like characters on there, and they have so, it's beautiful.
When you mentioned the characters, did you meet some of the characters, and what were some of your favorite
Oh
interactions?
my gosh, I met a couple of characters. I accidentally ran into one of the princesses in the corridor, but I didn't get a picture of her. It was Belle. And I did. My favorite one was Goofy. I took a picture with him. That was awesome.
So what was the average lines to wait for these characters?
It just depends. I would say you would get there early, or send somebody down to get in line because the lines do get a little bit long. And sometimes there's groups, so that goes a little bit faster. So the average wait time I would say would be like 15 minutes, maybe give or take. I don't want to say like 15, 20 minutes, but give or take,
And on the selling, was there a bunch of kids on the selling?
Yes. But you know what? I did see that a lot of kids did have their time occupied, and so they weren't like yelling and screaming or misbehaving. So they had something to do, and it was totally different than what I, would have imagined.
So one of the notions of a Disney cruise is that it's too kid centric. Did you see that, or did you think that there was enough stuff for adults to do as well on the ship?
Oh, there's plenty for adults to do on the ship. There's plenty for all ages to do. There's a jazz club that's after hours that opens at like 9:30. There's like bingo for adults. There's a bar area for the adults. There's a lot to do.
All right, so let's talk about the stateroom. What type of stateroom did you have?
We had a deluxe a stateroom with a veranda, and it had a split bathroom, and that could accommodate four people because it has the ability for a bunk bed. So it's roomy, and it had a lot of storage space. It has a closet, has drawers.
So did you think that your stateroom was better than like your previous sellings of Carnival?
I think the Carnival had less storage space than the Disney, only because I feel like it had so much. Like it had like a little vanity where I could get ready, and like my mom had her own space in the bathroom, and it had a lot of storage space. So I would say that's a big plus.
So you said you had a balcony, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Was the balcony worth the extra price? Like, did you get a good view at least?
Yes, absolutely.
And how about the room stewards? Were they very attentive and
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They went out of their way to bring me ice, and it was awesome. Whatever we needed, they were right on it. And that's what I like about this Disney cruise, only because I feel like the service is like above and beyond. And I feel like they go that extra mile to make your cruise a magical experience, as they say. So it was awesome.
would you say that as a whole, the cast members on the ship were very attentive of all your needs, and if you had any
Yes.
problems, you would ask them, and they would try to their best to help
Yes.
you?
Yes.
And speaking of the other workers on the ship, how was the entertainment? Were there any shows that stood out to you or any fun activities that you did on the ship?
We saw all of the shows that were offered on board. They were awesome. It was Broadway level entertainment. Everybody was super professional. The scene changes were seamless. They had pyro on stage, which is a little tricky only because like you need to like put in the I feel like I'm gonna teach class here, but but like you need to like have that safe element of working with live ammunition, I guess you could say, or dynamite, right? And you need to be professional at all times. And I felt like they really achieved that with the level of entertainment on board. It was awesome.
Did you feel like that the entertainment was mainly focused on kids, or was there also shows that were ready for adults too?
The entertainment, of course, on board was centered for kids, but us, it's a Disney cruise. I mean, but it was great. It was very professionally done. Absolutely.
Did you play bingo or any other thing on the cruise ships like that?
I wanted to play the bingo. I just didn't have enough time. It is an additional extra charge to play the bingo. I think it's like $25 extra. But I just didn't have time.
So we all know that there is no casino on the ship, sadly. With me and Jesse being the big gamblers we are. Did you still think that there was enough entertainment to keep you occupied aside from a casino?
Yes. Yes.
What were some of your favorite things that you ate on the ship?
Oh my gosh. I would have to say my top 3 would be the Mickey bars, and the Mickey churros, and the chicken strips. So good.
As someone who has been to the parks, the food is very similar to what they serve.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I know Disney does have rotational dining as well. What were the restaurants?
Rapunzel's Royal Table, Animator's Palette, and Lumineers.
And I know the servers do follow you to each restaurant?
Yes, they do. That's correct, yeah.
All right. Was there any bars that you really liked?
I didn't really get to go to all of them. I will say that the service was awesome at all of the bars that are on board. They're really nice. I mean, everybody's like, oh, maybe you'd like this, and they would suggest a drink, and or they can just make you whatever, honestly. If you ask for, I don't know, Bloody Mary or daiquiri, for example, like they'll make it for you. I mean, it doesn't have to, be, one thing or whatever. But I will say that if you do go on a Disney cruise, they have a drink of the day. And so you can try that. And I know that I tried 2 of them, and it was, I forget the names, but they were really good drinks.
What would you say your favorite drink was?
I would say the drink of the day that I got I think it was like Malibu rum and like some sort of like fruit juice. It was really, really, really good. I should have gotten another one, but
Hey, you could always go back and get another one.
yes.
So were there any buffets on this cruise ship?
Yes. We went to one that was called Cabanas. They start serving breakfast at 8, and I think stop serving at 10:45, so that's a considerable amount of time to go get breakfast. So yeah.
Absolutely. And was dining at a set time, or did you?
Yes. So they have early dining, which is at 5:15, and they have late dining, which is at 8:15. So we did the late dining at 8:15 only because, like, you get up and you have breakfast, and then you have like a lunch on the swim deck, and then so much food everywhere. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I imagine with being on a cruise ship that there is just an overabundance of food. And there's also abundance of stuff to do. What
hmm
were some of your favorite activities that you did on the ship?
One of my favorite activities on the ship was definitely the swim deck. It was nice to just lay out in the sun and just, relax for a few minutes. I loved the adult area of the ship. It was really nice. It had really nice entertainment. They had live entertainment. They had nice music. That was my favorite.
So did any of the open areas around the pool or anything ever feel crowded?
No, not at all. Mm-mm.
And how were the slides, or and what type of slides, or what type of rides do they have on the ship?
So on the Disney Magic, they have the slide that's called oh my gosh, what is it called? The dunk something. Aqua Dunk. So that's the slide where you have to you're basically like standing up and then the floor comes out from underneath you and you slide down. Yeah. And they had another slide. I don't but I think that's for the younger kids because it was on the other side of the ship.
All right, so let's transition now to your porter call. What was the porter call, and did you do anything at the port?
Oh, so we went to Progresso. I didn't go. My parents went. They went and walked around. They went to the supermarket, and they went to somewhere else. I think the pharmacy, 'cause a lot of times they'll get you know medicines that they can't get here in the states, and so they'll get a few things. And yeah.
All right, so let's now transition to disembarkment. Did you do self disembarkation, or did you take your luggage off with you?
We did self. What is it called? Self
Disembarkation.
disembarkation. That's such a big word. So what it is on a Disney cruise, you pack your things the day before. So we left on a Sunday morning, and so we packed our things on Saturday night. So you put your luggage out of your stateroom by I think 10:30, and then they take your luggage. And when you get off the ship, all you need to show is your key card or your key to the world, and that's how you get off the ship. I mean, it's pretty smooth.
Asking about the key to the world, is it an actual key or is it just your hotel card key?
It's your hotel card key that says your like name and
It wouldn't be
you know.
Disney to give you an actual key. I know they do that at some of the parks, but what were some of the highlights of this trip for you?
Some of the highlights for me were meeting Mickey Mouse. Honestly, that was so much fun.
Was that a pretty smooth process? I know you said
Yes,
earlier that there was a you times that you go, but you
yes.
didn't have to wait very long for him.
No, it was 15, maybe 20 minutes. It's not that bad, but it's Mickey Mouse. You're gonna have to wait, but it's better than meeting him in the parks and it's just like super hot and there's everybody's crowded and so
Yes, it's much better than waiting 45 minutes at Magic Kingdom to go meet Mickey. Just wait 5 minutes and then go to the bars afterwards.
more or less.
So, would you take this trip again, and how does it compare to other cruises you've been on?
Oh my gosh, I would totally take this trip again. And for me, it doesn't compare to anything because it's Disney. And aside from that, everything's included. Like it's wonderful. Aside from the alcohol, because you are allowed to bring in 2 units of alcohol. So, for example, like I could bring in like 2 bottles of wine, or I could bring in a bottle of wine and like a 6 pack of beer and that kind of thing. And so it's I mean, for me, it doesn't compare. Like I know with Carnival, there's like a beverage package, and it's like 15 drinks a day or something. I'm not gonna drink 15 drinks in one day. So for me, I think this works out better. Oh, and then even that, the soda's unlimited and the ice cream's unlimited. So I'm like, I took my cup, and filled it up with ice and soda all day and water. I'm like, it's. So yeah, I loved it.
So, what would you do different next time?
Oh my gosh. That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe I would try to go to more events on board because I just didn't have enough time. I would try to make more like things for me to do, maybe like bingo or something, which sounded so much fun. And they even had like trivia. I just didn't have enough time. I would try to do more stuff.
All right, last one. This is a fun one. You decorated your door. How did you like decorating it? And, was everyone else decorating on the ship as well?
Yeah, that's a huge common thing on board the Disney cruise. I bought some magnets off of Amazon, some cruise related magnets that were. And my sister has a cricket, and she cut out our family name and put it on a Disney shaped or Mickey Mouse shaped like template. guess it's like a piece of wood. And you just put magnets on the back of it and put it on your door because they're all magnetized. And it was so much fun. And I can't believe I got pixie dusted. Somebody came by and gave me a little Mickey waffle.
So is that like very similar to like the duck, or is that like the ducks like on carnival ships?
Yeah, well, sort of, kind of. I know that the ducks on a carnival ship, you like hide them and then they try to find them. But this is more or less you signing up for like a gift exchange or just exchanging gifts, period. And that's a huge thing that they do on Disney cruises. And I forget what it's called. It's like fish something. I don't know, the gift exchange. But when you do, it's called pixie dusting when you drop them off in the rooms. So.
And you participated in this? You were able to give another stateroom gifts?
No, I didn't participate in it this time. My sister, however, did on her previous cruise, but not on this one because it was only 4 days, and so she didn't want to.
Well, it sounds like you had a wonderful time. And that will do it for this week's episode of the Lido Loop. I'm Jack. That's Jesse. As always, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll see you next time on
The Lido Loop.
or at the casino, but just not on a Disney cruise.